Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another lovely Wednesday morning here on Mornings with the Outlaw. We're already halfway through the second week of this show being on the air here on the Outlaw Nation YouTube channel. Can't thank you all enough for being a part of it again this morning. Always great to see the familiar faces dropping in. MK Somberg, how you doing? Haskell 420, what's going down, my man? Javier D, how's it going, everyone? Kevin Murphy, Chris Scorpio, Ryan Wiley Todd, always good to see you, man. The Real Talk with Silos is up in here. Andrew G, what's up, man? What's up? Maria Hammond is back. How are you? Kevin Merton, what's going on, Kevin? J. Scott for real. Rick Samoris, let's see who else. Jake Yacovetta, by the way, mad love to Jake Yacovetta again for doing another great thumbnail for Mornings with the Outlaw this morning. Chris Zimmerman, a friend of mine, reached out to me last night over email and said how much he's enjoying the show and how much he loves these thumbnails and the views that the show is getting. So thank you so much to Jake and everybody involved with Call to Action that's helping out here, including Paul Denuzzo, Billy Belford, who always offers some great comments of support here for the Outlaw Nation and for Mornings with the Outlaw. Thank you, Jake. Monkey of all DJs is in here. Mike the Supreme. Pizza, what's going on? Channels is in here. Andrew G, what's going down, my man? Chris Barnes, AZ Badfish is up in here. Travis Gilbert, Matthew Barajas, Jesse Carrera, Sled182, Rednax 42, Zeno Hour, Salute, Randall Tan. Morning. What's up, everyone? Well, this is gonna be an hour-long show. I'll tell you that right now. You can plan this right now, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. At 9 a.m., I have to pack up my stuff and head on over to the Four Seasons, which is about 5 minutes away from my house, because I get to interview Johnny Flynn, a good actor, great actor, really, from the new film Emma. It's going to be on the latest version of it's for the latest version of the Deep Cut, which will be available in podcast form very soon. All of my stuff here on the Outlaw Nation going to be on the Outlaw Nation podcast feed. That's going up very soon. So that is what I'm looking forward to today after we do this fun show with you all. Get to interview him for about 45 minutes to an hour to talk about his work, his career, his how he feels about doing Emma and what he's doing next, which is Stardust, that biopic of David Bowie. And also he's working on that new version of The Talented Mr. Ripley, or Ripley's Game. Those books that Patricia Highsmith wrote. They're turning him into a Showtime series with Andrew Scott playing the Ripley character, and Johnny Flynn will be playing the Dickie Greenleaf character. So I'm looking forward to sitting down with him and talking to him for a little bit. But let's get into what is going on today, and that is the Ben Affleck stuff. Pretty incredible words delivered here. If you haven't read this article, this interview rather, in the New York Times, you really should. It's one of the most revealing, open, honest interviews with Ben Affleck that I've ever read. Hold on, let me put up the Streamlabs. I apologize. I usually have it up on the computer earlier than that. Okay, there we go. Put it on, sign in. All that jazz that you're supposed to do. There we go. Cool. Anyway, all right. Oh, we got some Streamlabs already, so I'll definitely be answering some of these in just a second. So, all right. So, anyway, Ben Affleck, yes, a very revealing interview in the New York Times. Pretty long interview. Talked about his divorce. Talked about his new film, The Way Back, which right now I'm angling to try to get into the premiere. Hopefully I can be there, because there has not been a film that's come out this year, the trailer that I saw, that has excited me more as a human being than seeing The Way Back. You know, he's playing a basketball coach, suffering through alcoholism and fighting back to reclaim his life. It certainly has shades of what Ben went through in his own life, and he talks about that in the interview as well. But one of the big things he talks about that everyone is covering now is his situation with the Batman. Let's take a look at these comments here real quick. He said, I showed somebody the Batman script. They said, I think the script is good. I also think you'll drink yourself to death if you go through what you just went through again. And what they mean by that is his troubleshoot, quote unquote, that he had on Justice League. That was kind of contributing to the situation of him being unhappy with it, plus going through his divorce with Jennifer Garner at the same time. And he said that he started to drink, he always drank relatively normally, and then things got out of control. Quote, I drank relatively normally for a long time. What happened was that I started drinking more and more when my marriage was falling apart. You're trying to make yourself feel better with eating, drinking, or sex, or gambling, or shopping, or whatever, he explained, but that ends up making your life just worse. let's see here. What else did he say? Then you do more of it to make that discomfort go away. Then the real pain starts. It becomes a vicious cycle you can't break. That's at least what happened to me. And remember, his marriage ended to Jennifer Garner in 2018 after a long separation. He'd played Batman in three separate films, in Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice, in Justice League, and in Suicide Squad. He did agree to direct the film for the Batman. Remember, Jeff Johns was working on the script with him. He was going to do that. It was supposed to follow Justice League. And then in the end, he stepped down, and Warner Brothers, of course, replaced him with Robert Pattinson now and going into the Matt Reeves trilogy. So this is some pretty interesting comments from Ben Affleck, and I found them to be very moving, very honest, very open about his situation. I've always been of the belief, and I've said this on numerous movie talks, you can go back and find those old episodes, where I felt that this decision was made way back when, and that Ben was just along for the ride till they officially announced it. I could tell at the Comic-Con when they were there announcing Justice League, Ben was taking such a massive backseat to everybody else that it didn't surprise me at all when he eventually stepped away or Warner Brothers announced that they were going in a new direction. I think Ben understands the Hollywood game after being in it for, almost 3 decades now. I think he gets how this whole thing works, and that is, look, he's very appreciative he got a chance to play Batman. He's very appreciative that it came at the time in his life that he did, but you can't predict what happens in your life. Divorce, alcoholism, your own personal journey, your own personal demons that come up. Because remember, Ben Affleck had kind of been forgotten a little bit with, he'd started out so red hot and then kind of had been forgotten a little bit, was doing these movies that weren't, kind of putting butts in seats. Then he became a director and he kind of turned everything around, and people were loving his movies and talking about him possibly being an Oscar nominated director. Certainly Argo won Best Picture. So those kinds of things were in his kind of in this rhythm of the comeback for Ben Affleck, and then boom, this happens. Batman, the drinking, the divorce, all of it combining, the back tattoo to him go tumbling all the way back down to being fodder for tabloids again, like he was during his time with J-Lo. So those are the things that kind of, put a stop on his ascension in the first place. And here they were back again to kind of stop his ascension as a director in the second place again. I think the interview is fantastic. I think he's incredibly honest. And I think it's a guy who is figuring things out. Sometimes we get so caught up in celebrities living their lives and being successful and Uber and, going to great parties and doing whatever, that we forget about the pressure that they sometimes come under and the outside forces that can work on somebody that exposes their demons. Yeah, I suppose if you want to judge them, you can judge some of them for what goes on, but just be careful that judgment doesn't turn back on you. Don't you go through things? Don't you experience things as success or defeat comes into your life? How do you react to it? And for him, he obviously had some stuff he needed to work out. It was coming through in his drinking. It was coming through in his philandering, alleged philandering on Jennifer Garner, and all these things overall. But, you got to create space for a guy who's willing to be open about it and honest about it, and is on his own journey of self-discovery, his own journey of healing, and may come out even stronger from this. I mean, I think that's why a lot of us like Ben Affleck, is we just sense a connection to a guy that seems to be part of Hollywood and not part of Hollywood at the same time. You think you could have, for lack of a better term, you could sit down and have a drink with Ben if he wasn't, necessarily an alcoholic, but you could sit and have lunch with Ben or have a dinner with Ben and have a great time having a fun conversation with him about his world and about his life. Certainly, you don't direct the kind of films that he directs without having an introspective, self-aware bone in your body, and he certainly has that overall with his film. So to me, I'm incredibly happy to hear him talking about this in an open way. For people who suffer with alcoholism or addiction or mental health stuff, I think there are things you can pick out in this interview that will kind of connect to you and make you understand his journey and feel his journey. Because those of us who've been through certain things like this, we know the code words when we see them or when we read them about someone's struggles or someone's a journey that they're on to figure things out and to overcome whatever demons come into their lives. And that's certainly a situation here with Ben. I'm very happy that he is, he's kind of back in a good place now. I did enjoy him as Batman in the Justice League. I liked him as the Zack Snyder Batman. He was really fun. It is a crime that we're never going to get a standalone Batman movie with Ben Affleck as Batman for now. Listen, you never know in Hollywood. You never know what can happen with a comeback story. Maybe at some point down the road, we have Ben Affleck coming back to play the older Batman in a live-action version of Dark Knight Returns. Can you not imagine? Wouldn't it be awesome 20 years from now, 15 years from now, just to see Ben Affleck in the Batman, in the Bruce Wayne suit with the white hair and the mustache under the lamplight saying this would be a good time today. Under the lamplight, hearing the shiv. He's going to shiv. Is he shiving? All that kind of stuff. Wouldn't it be awesome to see a Ben Affleck version of The Dark Knight Returns way later in life and have him kind of like close the loop with this whole Batman situation, because a lot of us feel that he didn't get a shot to really show what he could do in his standalone movie. But you can't deny the fact that things were going on outside of his life that were in his control and out of his control. And unfortunately, they all collaborated to kind of get him to move off the project. I think WB and Ben Affleck probably had this agreement. This is my speculation. Probably had this agreement way back in 2017 when he was having second thoughts about this whole thing. And they said to him, well, listen, why don't you ride this out? Do the cameos, whatever, as we search for a new Batman, generate the idea of what we want to go with this trilogy, and then we'll give you a graceful exit. And Ben played the game, and there's nothing wrong with playing the game. That's how it is sometimes. I think I don't know what they want to do with Henry Cavill. That's one of those unreadable situations, in my opinion. Is he out? Is he in? Is he not out? Is he not in? You just don't know with him. He's certainly kicking ass in The Witcher, but what are they going to do? They haven't insinuated that he's in or he's out. They've made comments, but they haven't officially confirmed one way or the other. So we're waiting to hear back on that as well. But me personally, I'm very happy for this, for Ben. I'm looking forward to the way back. I hope I get into that premiere, and I hope I get to review it for you all, certainly on social media, but certainly on camera as well. I'll give you my thoughts on it, because I think it's going to be a tour de force of acting from Ben Affleck. And I think that film is going to be incredible because of who's involved in it and who's directing it. You know, Gavin O'Connor. That he certainly, with all these other films that he's done, he's certainly proven what he can do behind that camera and what excites him the most about the character stories that he directs in his films. So to me, I'm looking forward to see what he will create. Having loved Warrior as much as I did, I'm certainly looking forward to see what the combo of him and Ben Affleck, what it can yield. So we'll see. What do you all think about this stuff? Let me jump into some maybe some comments. Let's see. It's a shame. I would love to have at least one. Yeah. Let's jump into see what people are talking. What's up, Rocha? First stream. I watch you. Thank you, Fun Kevin. I appreciate that. Rail talk with Seal Rocha, fire and muscles. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you. It's Jake Yakubet in here. Thank you so much. Cam Chef says Rocha is crushing it. Morning, everybody. Thank you, Cam Chef. I appreciate that. Everybody's cool with the stream. Cool. Andrew DiMalanta's back in here. What's up, Andrew? Way to see you, man. Mike the Supreme says Wayback looks amazing. I agree. Italio Slesio saying hi from Brazil. Zeno Hour says saw Ben Affleck on First Take. He looks so healthy and happy. Yeah, it's a journey. It's a journey. Addiction and recovery is a journey. You see when they're out of addiction, how happy, how healthy, how great they look, and you pray for them to not fall back and not stumble and not start drinking again because you know what it leads to. You know what happens to them. And like Ben said, you kind of fill those holes with sex or gambling or drinking or money or whatever, and it's not actually going to fill the holes, and you have to go on your own personal journey to discover that kind of stuff. And it certainly looks like Ben has. Let's see here. Mike the Supreme, it's almost like he was literally becoming the character he was playing in BVS. Yeah, it's a fair point. This bitter, angry situation. Yeah, good point. Ben Lander said, I really wanted to see an Affleck-directed Batman. I loved him as Batman. Yeah, that may be coming down the road. We'll see. That may be coming down the road, as I said. Mike the Supreme says, it's a shame. I would have loved at least one solo movie, but his health is more important. Yes, absolutely. Health is more important than anything else. Oh, and guys, please give me those likes. Got over 130 of you in here. Thank you so much for joining me, but I'm only at 61 likes. Please swing that cursor over there, hit the like button, and get me to above 100 as quickly as I can. Like I said, we're wrapping this up at 9 a.m. because I got to run off to do an interview for Deep Cut with Johnny Flynn, but I would love it to get over 100 likes or 150 likes maybe before this whole thing is done. Cam Chef says, I can't wait for Rocha's response next Tuesday on Backstage. Great post he made this morning. Oh, yeah. I'm in the Facebook group for the Movie Trivia Schmodown. Ben Bateman yesterday hosting Schmodown Backstage. had some things to say about the disadvantage he thinks he's at having me manage Dan while he's being managed by Tom. I had a little something to say about that. So please go take a look at that in there. And I'll definitely be back on Schmodown Backstage next week to talk about it. So Zeno Hour says he's not coming back as Batman. It's over. However, I think he could direct a superhero movie. That's very possible. Mike the Supreme said Keaton kind of did it, so it is possible. You're right. Keaton did come back to play the Vulture, so he did, and also in Birdman a little bit, kind of references to Batman in that way as well. Is the audio low for everybody? Sorry, are you guys having trouble hearing me with the audio? I hope not. I've got it set as high as it can go. If it's an issue, please let me know. Yeah, it's as high as it can go here. Output volume here. There we go. Input volume. Okay. Hopefully that's enough there. Hope you guys can hear me with that. All right. Let's see. What's going on with Camshaft? What do we got here, Camshaft? Okay, group a few hours ago about Atlanta Ben. Okay, hey, if guys could be a fan, please keep me in your heart. Good thoughts and prayers today. I have a tough hump day. All right, thinking about you, Camshaft. Sending you Outlaw Nation support. Certainly seeing all the support for you. If you're having a tough day today, hey, man, we're with you. Take it step by step, moment by moment. Get through it. Come out the other side, and I'll see you tomorrow morning, please. Let's see. Ben Affleck, mature as an actor, too. Fact, says Reginald Brown Music. I appreciate that. Andy Bennett says, my feeling is my feeling is Henry Cavill is done for good as Superman. Looking forward to Arpat as Batman, but Ben Affleck will be missed. Yeah, that's pretty incredible how many people really enjoyed Ben Affleck in as Batman. And it's a shame we're not going to get a full movie with him. And so many people are interested in him and love him to pieces. And so to see him in the Batman role and to see him on his journey here, I hope people go see this way back. I hope it's fantastic for two reasons. And that is, Gavin O'Connor is a great director. People need to be giving Gavin O'Connor a little more love than they've been giving him. And Ben Affleck is fantastic. And it's great to see him kind of tackle this idea of alcoholism. And maybe he took this movie because he wanted to go on his own journey with it, his own personal experience with it. He wanted to fight through it and go and find what he wanted to find out from playing this role. You know, acting is sometimes therapy. People joke about it. It's not therapy. No, bullshit. Sometimes it really is. You take certain roles to kind of figure things out about yourself, about your abilities, about where you're going in life. And maybe this is one of those ones for Ben Affleck. I hope so, man. There's probably no one I cheer for more in this business than Ben Affleck, because his movies have decorated my life. I will forever defend Armageddon, and he's got a hilarious commentary track about it as well. And I will forever love The Town. The Town is one of those films. I've told people many times on numerous shows, I have 6 films on my MacBook all the time. The Town is one of them. Warrior, The Gray. The Town is just one of those ones that you come back to all the time that kind of puts you in this mood. And you see some incredible work from Ben Affleck and Rebecca Hall and Jeremy Renner in that movie. Certainly Ben Affleck as a director as well, really capturing the rugged toughness of a town like that and that situation there in Boston. All right, let's see. All right, let's see. Let me jump into some Streamlabs. People have been sending some stuff in. Jeffrey Lebowski said, Andrew G, donated, said, I was on board with Batfleck from day one of the casting news. I was bummed he bailed, but since they announced Rob Pattinson, hold on, let me bring the brightness on this. Rob Pattinson, and having seen more of his recent work, like The Lighthouse, which I loved, I can't wait to see what he does. Battinson Begins. Yeah, certainly. People are looking forward to that. Good Time is available now on Netflix. They just put it up on Netflix, so you can watch that Robert Pattinson performance as well to give you a good idea of what he can do. Watch The King. I think he's fantastic as the Dauphin in The King. He's good. So good. And The Lighthouse, of course. I can't speak enough about how great Robert Pattinson is in The Lighthouse. So, yes, a lot of people loving Ben Affleck, but also ready to accept our Pats as Batman. So we'll see. All right, Wiley Todd. Hey, Rocha, have you seen Bleed for this with Miles Teller? I think it's really underrated, and at least 2 Teller films are okay, but Teller is the best part of it. Do you think it will be in the mainstream again after Top Gun comes out? I think that all depends. Bleed for this, I did see the boxing movie. I liked him in it. I liked the movie. It wasn't a great boxing movie, but it's a damn good boxing movie for sure. I enjoyed him in that, and certainly his characterization of that real-life boxer. I forget the guy's name, but real-life boxer was fantastically well done. His journey overcoming I think Vinny Pazienza was overcoming the issues with his neck and coming back to be a championship boxer again. Pretty incredible stuff and some great acting from Miles Teller in that movie. I think it all depends with Miles Teller because there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes with him that people talk about that they don't like working with him, that at times he's arrogant, he's cocky, he's rude, he can be those are the things that I've heard. Those are things that have been, talked about on rumor mills, things of that nature. And so behind the scenes, I haven't heard the greatest things about him. So maybe, just like Ben, maybe there's his own personal journeys going on, like we saw with Shia LaBeouf, also someone that got some heat from behind the scenes from people saying he was difficult to work with. People are on their own paths, and sometimes the artists are the ones that are most difficult to be around their sphere when they're on their path, because they can be so singularly focused that everything else doesn't matter as consistently as it should. So we'll see with Miles Teller. I certainly, the possibility, if Top Gun Maverick is great, Miles Teller could be back in the conversation for a number of things. Look at what happened to Shia LaBeouf again. Peanut Butter Falcon and Honey Boy, all of a sudden Shia is back in people's eyes and people want to see more from Shia. So certainly possible overall that we could see more from Shia LaBeouf. All right, that's all the Streamlabs so far. Hey guys, please donate to the Streamlabs. Donate on the Super Chat. Would love to, get a little bit of support for the show. Keep it going. Keep it doing the things that I'm doing. I would appreciate it. It helps a lot when you help the Outlaw Nation, help grow the coffers a little bit so that I can do more things, do more content, do more shows, things of that nature. So, and you can also donate to my Patreon, www.patreon.com/John Rocha. Go there, see all the multiple tiers that I'm involved in, and let's hang out. Let's hang out on the Patreon. That would be a lot of fun. All right, let's see if we got anything else here. I'm gonna take a quick sip. Let's see. Yeah, Zeno Hour says, I hope the way back is successful. Cam Chef says, I loved Affleck and Chasing Amy. Yeah, true. He was in School Ties. Absolutely. A lot of people talk about that honest trailer of Batman vs. Superman, which I thought was really funny as well. Those guys over at Screen Junkies, the honest trailer stuff is fantastic. It's always been very fun. Let's see. Patton says, routine with Claire Danes for her next film alongside Margaret Qualley. That's MK Songbird saying that. Degeneration MC says, I really feel that Batfleck should have gotten the solo movie in 2016 instead of doing BVS. Yeah, very true. You got to factor in WB's rush overreaction. You could put whoever was in charge of WB, the executives at that time, they completely overreacted to Man of Steel not being 100% well received. There's a lot of us that defend that movie and love that movie. A lot of us prominent voices who defend that movie and love that movie. But they should never have tried to combine 4 separate graphic novels into one film. It was clumsy. It was awkward. It was difficult to watch, in my opinion. I know Riley is one of those people that's come around on it, but I think Batman should have gotten his own thing. Then you've introduced Batman, you've introduced Superman, then you can bring them together in the Batman v Superman situation. You could have still dropped the Wonder Woman movie solo as well. Then you'd have brought all 3 of them together. Wouldn't that have been something in some film? And having had their origin stories already, wouldn't that have been something to see? So unfortunately, it didn't work out that way, and that's the way it goes sometimes. Omar94 says, let's hope Ben Affleck can get his groove back with 3 movies he's in this year. Way Back, Deep Water, and The Last Duel. Yeah, The Last Duel is a weird one. We'll see how that turns out. We'll see how the shooting on that goes. We'll see how the trailer looks, and we'll see overall what the product is like. The story is a bit troublesome, so we'll see how that all turns out. What about Ben Affleck returning as Bruce Wayne in Batman Beyond if they make a live-action version of the cartoon? Yeah, why not? That would be an awesome thing to take a look at. Certainly a possibility. Brendan Herman Rocha, greetings from Richmond, Virginia. I've been following you since your days on Collider. Love what you're doing. I really appreciate your insightful takes and post on Instagram. Thanks, man. I appreciate that, Brandon. Yeah. Trying to keep it chill, trying to keep it supportive, positive, moving forward, creating content, doing whatever. I just talked with Greg Alba yesterday from The Real Rejects. He's been so supportive. Whenever I have any questions or concerns or ideas of expanding, how I can expand content or do more stuff on the channel, Greg is a great source and a great guidance. So thanks, everybody who's been enjoying what I've been doing step by step. Already people are like, the show looks so much better than it did when you first started. Yeah, I'm that kind of person. I'm always in the process of creating better and better stuff and making it look better. Matt Lewis says, hey, from Cardiff. Hiya. I think that's how they say it in Wales, right? Hiya. John, love the time for your morning show. It's the afternoon here, so it means I can listen to Mornings with the Outlaw live on the drive home from work every day. That's awesome, Matt. Thanks for taking me with you on the drive home. I appreciate that madly. ABSH38412 says, keep up the good work. Thank you so much. Andrew DiMalantis agrees with me. He says, Man of Steel is my favorite DCEU film. Yeah, I think it might be my favorite as well, for sure. Oh, yeah. By the way, Top 10 Live is happening in London, May 2nd. If you are in Europe, England, wherever, we are doing it in London, May 2nd, King's Place. Thank you so much to Jake Iacovetta for putting that address back up. We need y'all to get some. It's a 400-seat theater. We'd love for y'all to come and see us. Get your tickets. I think it's like £30 a ticket. It's not that much considering the entertainment value you're going to get. We're doing like an extra long show, interactive with the fans, questions, comments, whatever. All that going down, plus counting down an exclusive top 10 list that'll just be for the people who show up there live for the show. King's Place, www.kingsplace.com. That's where you go. May 2nd in London, 400-seat theater. Come be a part of it. Come be a part of the show. Let's see. Andre Hightower says, I feel somewhere years down the line, people will appreciate Ben Affleck's Batman. I'm looking forward to Pattinson's version, but also a little weary of young or young-ish Batman. We'll see. We'll see. Dragon Azul says, yeah, the show looks great. Thank you so much. Kevin Linda, do you think Tom Holland will make a cameo in Venom 2? Yes, I do think Tom Holland will make a cameo in Venom 2 now that they've worked this whole deal out. Or it might not be Tom. Wait, let me correct that. I think a Spider-Man will make a cameo in Venom 2. I don't know which one. So, all right, let's move on to our next story, and that's the Martin Scorsese story. It came out yesterday that during his comments here, he gave his comments to, Cahiers du Cinema? Via Premiere. He revealed the genre for Killers of the Flower Moon. That's his new, that's the new film that he is directing based on the book from author David Grant. It's a nonfiction book, true story. These were his comments. He said, we think it's a Western. It takes place in 1921 to 1922 in Oklahoma. They are certainly cowboys, but they have cars and also horses. The film is mainly about the Osage, an Indian tribe that was given horrible territory, which they loved because they said to themselves that whites would never be interested in it. Then we discovered oil there, and for about 10 years, the Osage became the richest people in the world per capita. Then, as with the Yukon and the Colorado mining regions, the vultures disembark, the white man, the European arrives, and all was lost. There, the underworld had such control over everything that you were more likely to go to jail for killing a dog than for killing an Indian. Wow, those are strong statements from Martin Scorsese about what he's going to be tackling here in this book. And, we saw this with the Tulsa riots with Watchmen. These kind of hidden stories that have been that have decorated our country's history for worse, not for better. I'm glad that they're being exposed and talked about and filmed and shown and put out there for people to have conversations about. I think it's important. Of course it's important. There's nothing wrong, and I want to push back. I want to make sure this is very clear to me for everybody. There's nothing wrong with being aware of the mistakes of the past. There's nothing wrong with exposing that, talking about it so that we don't repeat it in the future. There's nothing wrong. Some people are afraid to have this stuff come out because they're afraid to deal with what the ramifications of it may be and what they see themselves as like a denigration of the country, a denigration of the United States. Absolutely ridiculous. That's such limited thinking, such short-sighted thinking, such small thinking. And I think that's so frustrating for for people of intelligence to grasp, because it's like, that's part of the process. Why isn't a country like a human being? We run the country. Human beings run the country. Therefore, human beings are fallible, and human beings must learn from the mistakes of their past. We just talked about Ben Affleck. We just talked about Shia LaBeouf. These ideas that people are on their journeys learning from the mistakes of their past. Do we not bring up their past? Their past is exactly why we appreciate them now in the future, because they learned from them. Or in the present, because they learned from them, became better people. Like, we can become a better country. That's what all this stuff is all about. It's not about trying to stir up, anger. Not at all. That's for the small-minded to think that that's what's happening. The bigger-minded, the people who can see the larger picture, understand that exposing this kind of stuff and exploring this kind of stuff is meant as a sign that we have to stop doing this kind of stuff all over the place, and certainly seeing in the country, seeing in the past of the country and what they did in these situations, certainly Native Americans and the stuff that they endured for years and for decades in this country. And once again, this is a situation where they took land that was terrible and nobody wanted it. Then they discovered oil. As soon as they did, people came in and tried to take it from them and did that. So that kind of stuff has to be exposed, just like the Tulsa race riots, right? Black Wall Street, so successful, making money. White people got mad about it, got jealous about it. That's what it's about. It's jealousy, nothing else but jealousy. And they go in and try to take it and purposely try to turn these people into a negative connotation so that they can be dehumanized, so that what they do to them is not seen as, that bad by the by people who are outside of the situation. And that's unfortunate. So I'm such a fan of this kind of stuff. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he puts this out. It's gonna star Robert De Niro and Leonardo DiCaprio. Let's take a look here. DiCaprio is going to play the FBI agent, the main role, the FBI agent, while De Niro is going to return to play William Hale, king of the Osage Hills, the man responsible for most of the murders, and the rest of the cast will be Native American actors. So there you go. You got DiCaprio and De Niro reteaming in the same movie with Martin Scorsese. You know, De Niro had been the connection with Scorsese for so long. Then DiCaprio took over and was working with Scorsese on a number of films. Certainly now seeing both of these guys coming together. And man, DiCaprio versus De Niro. De Niro playing a villain. Remember that small scene in American Hustle when De Niro played essentially a mob boss, an evil mob boss? Just the menace that he had in the limited amount of screen time that he had. That scared the living hell out of me. So to see him jumping back into this situation, I think is fantastic. To see what he can do with this role. I'm looking forward to Killers of the Flower Moon. I'm going to pick it up here. There's that cover of the book. I'm going to pick it up, definitely read it before the movie comes out. And I'm excited that it's going to be a Western. Yes, Scorsese's never directed a Western. You know, he's mostly kind of hung out in the New York streets with a lot of his stuff. It doesn't mean that he hasn't kind of walked out of that genre before, or walked out of New York. You know, certainly what he did with Age of Innocence, what he did with Kundun, what he did with a number of other movies here. Let me bring up his filmography, because I had a couple of movies that I was thinking about for him as a director that were kind of out of the kind of New York approach that he has to things, that I thought kind of speak volumes of his ability to walk out. I thought Hugo was fantastic. I really enjoyed Hugo. He did that fantastic documentary, The Last Waltz, on the band. And you haven't, look, there's a new documentary coming out on the band. It's called Once We're Brothers. I just got a screening link for that. I'm definitely going to watch that and do a review of it. I can't recommend it to you all enough to maybe give it a chance when it comes out and see if you enjoy it as well. Let's see. The Aviators, pretty much out of New York. It's LA based, or all over the place based rather. Let's see. What else did he do? Yeah, like I said, Hugo as well. So, and Silence, a lot of people loved or enjoyed Silence. It didn't, burn up the box office, but certainly got a lot of love from people who enjoy his movies. So that's a possibility as well for Scorsese doing a fantastic Western. He certainly has a track record, rather. The possibility he can do a fantastic Western is in play, because he has a track record of doing well when he walks away from his other genre or New York movies. So I look forward to that. Another possibility for him, too, is that this is a man who worked with a number of people in the 70s who did versions of Western movies in their movies that they were doing there during the 70s. I thought there's something to explore there. Certainly a lot of people bash Heaven's Gate, but there were other good movies during the 70s that were Westerns, and the late 60s as well. Peckinpah, certainly, with the Wild Bunch. I think Ride the High Country is a fantastic one from Peckinpah as well. So maybe there's something about Marty. He's been waiting to itch that Western scratch for quite some time, and this is the film to do it with. Would be great to see if he can bring it all together and make it work. I'm looking forward to it. I'm one of those people that like The Irishman. I didn't mind that it was 3.5 hours. I almost put it on again the other day on Netflix. I enjoy him as a filmmaker. He excites me. He interests me. And his technique and his style and his professionalism and his eye and his just approach to the material, he rarely disappoints, Marty. I mean, Gangs of New York is one that I just do not like, but it's very, very rare when Marty disappoints for me. I like his stuff. Let's see. Okay, no current Streamlabs right now. It's me taking another big sip there, Dimalanta. Let's see if we got some comments here about this. Let's see. Wiley Todd says he might be on the set in Oklahoma for this movie. Well, Wiley Todd, please, if you do get on the set, report in. That'd be a lot of fun to get something from you. Maybe send in some videos. Maybe we can put it up. Look, the Outlaw Nation to right, and I'll certainly edit the pieces and make sure they work and do the best I can. I'll teach you to do the WordPress, all that kind of stuff. We'll figure that all out together. But certainly, that's another possibility is people who are followers or fans or can be consistent correspondents, sending in videos of their time on the set talking about their experiences. We can put that as something on the site as well. Chris Scorpio says so many stories like this are hidden through history. So true. Jose Fonseca says, dude, Oklahoma is still trying to F over the tribes, trying to take reservation land. Dimalanta says, damn, Scorsese is 77 and still directing films. Yeah, he's still doing what he loves. Nothing wrong with that. Jose follows up again. Fonseca, he says, there's a Supreme Court hearing about Oklahoma State renegotiating treaties, not the U.S. government. Wow. All right. Reginald Brown, man, you got to slow down on them emojis, son. We get it with one. Andy Burnett says, we need to own our past as Americans. What has happened cannot repeat. Let's learn so we can move forward together. Right, exactly. That's all it is. It's not about, pointing fingers and blame and judgment. That's what they try to turn it into. They try to turn it into that because that's how they fire up their base and fire up people to go against the idea, the possibility, about accepting errors or mistakes that were made in the past of this country. When do we become so precious? When do we become so soft about confronting things that happened in our past? There's nothing wrong with confronting that kind of stuff, bringing it out into the light, apologizing, and then saying we're never going to do that again. That's a lesson for us. Let's never do that again. What's the problem with that? Why is that such a crime? For God's sakes, grow up. It's so mind-blowing to see people acting like children about that kind of stuff. Be an adult, accept the mistakes, and move on. That's how you grow. Johanna says, just got home from work. Time to make some dinner while watching my boy Johnny Outlaw talking movies. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It's very kind of you. Get Lou Diamond Phillips. Okay. All right. I'm cool with that. John Carlson says, it kills me how many people are oblivious to how Native Americans have been treated, and not just by the people, but by the government as well. Yeah, my girlfriend is half Native American, so it's certainly something that we talk about every once in a while, and gives me an insight into what the reaction is amongst people in that community to certain things that go on in this country nowadays still. So certainly that Redskins debate, I'm a fan of my Washington professional football team. I'd love them to change the name, but I still do occasionally use that nickname when I'm posting about them on Twitter or Instagram because that's my team. I love my team. And I never saw it as a negative, but I completely respect Native Americans telling or saying that they see that as a racist moniker and it should be changed. I think there's nothing wrong with it. Once again, when do we become so precious about the situation? No one's taken away Super Bowls or victories or anything. They're just taking away the name and replacing with another name, and a rose by another name is still a rose. Silk Bacrin says, I gave you my like already, John, but would really like to give you another one for what you just said. Sorry, English is not my native language. Hope my comment is clear. It was. Thank you so much. Travis Earl says, that was a great performance by De Niro in American Hustle. I feel that movie is underrated. Yeah, true. Very true. Mike the Supreme says, DiCaprio, De Niro, and Scorsese, say no more. I appreciate that. That's actually very, 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 very true. Let's see. Where else? Xenohour says, I'm excited about this. Kevin Lenda says, we have definitely screwed over the Native American people forever. I never heard of this story and looking forward to seeing this. Yeah, read the book. I'm going to be reading the book. I saw it at Costco the other day for a pretty good price, so I'll probably be getting it very soon. Let's see where we jump into. Wiley Todd says Kundun is his worst film. Yeah, true. That's fair. Travis Earl says he's been left cold by Scorsese's last few films. All right. That's, film is subjective. I enjoyed The Irishman. Omar says, I'm mixed on Scorsese's next film. I know you're the outlaw, but I've never liked Westerns, unfortunately. I'm not the biggest Scorsese fan. I've only ever liked two of his movies, The Aviator and Hugo. I love The Aviator. It's a good film, and I enjoyed Hugo. Yeah, okay, but are you a fan of No Country for Old Men? Because that's what it feels like to me. It's that kind of Western. It's not like, Cowboys and Indians or, Cowboys and Native Americans or Unforgiven. This is a different kind of Western that's more about not just horses, it's cars, and about what happens to Native Americans at the hands of some of the white colonists, things of that nature. So John Crowson says, really happy to see Scorsese again behind this. Sled182 says, I saw his Rolling Stones concert film in IMAX. Right, exactly. He's also doing, I think, a documentary on SCTV, which I think we spoke about last week. We were talking about Rick Moranis. MK Sonberg wants to know what's happening with DiCaprio and Scorsese's The Devil in the White City project. I don't know. A lot of people giving a little bit of love to Shutter. Oh, Shutter Island isn't a New York movie. Yeah, good point. That's true. Silence or the Portuguese film is great, right? As long as Scorsese is directing it, we know it will at least be a real movie. Ooh, that's a stroke. The Real Talk with CeeLo says, I agree with Rocha. I think Ben will come back later in the year. So yeah, Ben Affleck we were talking about earlier. Possibility. Rodney Padilla is saying, my favorite DiCaprio and Scorsese film is The Aviator. Ray Noonschwander says, I just put Killers of the Flower Moon in my audiobook queue through my local library. Library app people, free audiobooks and PDFs. Love all you're doing, Outlaw. Oh, thanks, Ray. I appreciate that, my man. The Departed was the last Marty film I felt super pumped by, says Travis Earl. All right. Haskell 420 says, thank you, John. LOL. Travis Earl says, Rocha is right, y'all. Thank you. Reginald Brown, one emoji. Damn. All right, good. Thank you, Reginald. One emoji is good. We all get it. Peter Aiken says, I'm from the UK, got home early today and managed to catch you live. Love the videos. Keep up the good work. Thanks, Peter. Appreciate that. I'll be having more and more stuff coming down the pike. Travis Earl says, Redskins is a hella racist name. LOL. I couldn't imagine any team getting away with that here in Canada. True. Very true. I think they changed it to Rick Zamora says, I think they changed it to Braves, but people got salty about it as well. True. Asa Seltzer says, I thought American Hustle was poorly written with a pedantic plot. Took itself too seriously. Well, it's a real story. What are you talking about? How can it take itself too seriously? It's an actual story that actually happened. I'm confused about that. If you could change the name from the San Diego Chargers to the Los Angeles Angels Chargers, you can change the name to Washington, anything else, and be fine. I agree. Nick Mueller says, Irishman was a masterpiece. Goodfellas will always be the best. Also, Wolf of Wall Street. Right. Asa Seltzer, have you heard the term Native Americans is inaccurate as there was no America for these people, and the appropriate term is the tribal name or First Peoples? Yeah, I've heard every number of things that there is. Yeah, I mean, like I said, my girlfriend being half Native American, they do identify as Native Americans. Other people identify as Peoples First. Other people are totally fine with being called Indians. It's very much not, there's no one way to do it. There really isn't. As long as you're being respectful about it, that's really what matters. The intention, it has to be respectful. That's what matters. So there's not one way, because a lot of people self-identify as different things. So I'm not going to be corrected to say it sound one way or the other. This is how I'm saying it, but I'm saying it with respect. All right. Wolf of Wall Street is Long Island, says Reginald Brown. I guess that's a slice there. Mike says, Rocha, Apple Pan, best burger in LA. Got to be honest with you, I've never had an Apple Pan burger. I've had an In-N-Out burger. I've had a Five Guys burger. I've had a Stout burger, Stout Father's Office burger, which is really good, but I have not had Apple Pan. But maybe the next time we're in El Segundo / Manhattan Beach, we'll swing by the Apple Pan. Oh, no. Wait, the Apple Pan, I'm thinking of something else. I'm thinking the Kettle. The Apple Pan is over there in West LA. We have had pies from the Apple Pan. We've never had burgers. So maybe we'll sit down at the counter and have a burger some afternoon, have lunch, me and her. Yufei plays Roxy wants you to be on her team. She spoke about that in SEN yesterday. Comment. Oh, I love Roxy. Roxy would be a great manager for me down the road, but I'm happy where I'm at. Tom is a fantastic manager. I'm enjoying all the whole crew in the Finstock Exchange. Looking forward to the live event in Atlanta. I will be there. I will be there at the live event in Atlanta. Don't doubt it. February 29th, tickets already booked. Hotels already booked. Can't wait to be there for my boy Dan. Can't wait to see Ben play as well. I'm a big fan of both of these guys. It's going to be exciting to be there in the room. And whoever wins, the Finstock Exchange wins. That's what matters overall. So I'm excited to be there. I will be there. I think I'm doing some meet and greets in front of before the event that night. So come on out. If you have got your tickets, come on out. If you haven't got them yet, go get them. So you can we can do some meet and greets, and I can sit down and talk to you, and maybe you give me some tips for doing more stuff with Mornings with the Outlaw. We'll see. All right, I'm going to take another sip, and we'll jump into our last story. I've got about 15 minutes left in the stream. All right, our last story of the day is the Dexter Fletcher story that broke as we were finishing the stream yesterday. The Mornings with the Outlaw stream yesterday, and that is the fact that he is going to be remaking The Saint. And let's take a look at Dexter Fletcher. Look at it. He looks like Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. He looks like Beethoven, right? He looks like Immortal Beloved. I love it. I wish my hair could do that. If my hair could do that, holy Mary, Mother of God, I would never cut it. I would just leave it like that all the time, and I'd have someone walking behind me playing classical music. That would be fantastic. Anyway, he has been signed by Paramount to work on a reboot of The Saint. If you remember, The Saint is an old character from the 1920s. It's a novel series written by Leslie Charteris, and Roger Moore did it in the 60s. Someone corrected me that there was another Saint in the 40s, I think. I can't remember it right now, but of course, most of us remember The Saint from 1997, which starred Val Kilmer and Elizabeth Shue. It was a 1997 action thriller that did its thing when it did its thing through Philip Noyce, and it wasn't as well received as people were hoping, and people wanted it to be a damn good film. And I think it's a fun, guilty pleasure to see Val Kilmer playing all these different characters, all these fun characters, seeing his relationship with Elizabeth Shue. Elizabeth Shue seems to be having a lot of fun in this movie as well. And tell you a little background on The Saint. It is, my fault. I almost had all the graphics right. There we go. Let's go back to me. There we go. The Saint is Simon Templar, who is a Robin Hood-esque criminal and thief for hire. The book character also inspired a 1960s TV show, as we mentioned, with Roger Moore. This is from Justin Kroll. He broke this on Variety, so I want to give him major props for doing that. He says it'll mark another genre film for Fletcher, who recently signed on to direct Universal's monster movie Renfield. Remember that? That adaptation is going to focus on R.M. Renfield, an inmate at a lunatic asylum who was thought to be suffering from delusions, but is actually a servant of Dracula. So that's the plot details so far. No one knows what's going on with The Saint in terms of plot details there, but it's supposed to be in modern day. And Paramount pursued Dexter Fletcher after the success of Rocket Man and what he did with Bohemian Rhapsody, taking over for Bryan Singer. I like Dexter Fletcher. I'm a massive fan of his. Really enjoyed his work on Eddie the Eagle. Really enjoyed his work on Rocket Man. I think that's a film that's criminally under-recognized because of what happened with Bohemian Rhapsody. And I think, look, we've already seen a certain somebody that he's worked with a few times play a spy or play this kind of like, Englishman spy, and that's Taron Egerton, right? He's already worked with him in The Eagle. Taron Egerton has done spy stuff for the Kingsman series, so why wouldn't this combo work again, a la Scorsese and DiCaprio, a la Scorsese and De Niro, a la any number of directors, and Kurosawa and Mifune? Maybe this is his Mifune, his De Niro, his DiCaprio for Dexter Fletcher is Taron Egerton. Wouldn't that be cool to see him playing the Saint? He's smooth AF. He's smooth AF, so wouldn't that be fun to see him stepping into that role and playing it? Plus, he's British, so following the long line of this kind of stuff. But any more exposure that Dexter Fletcher can get as a director, I am super excited about. There's so much about his resume that I've enjoyed. Obviously, I enjoyed him as an actor. He's from the Guy Ritchie school of performing there, because he was in Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. That was the first time you saw him. He is the guy in the kitchen, the soup, talking about the knives. That's him. And he's still acting. He did The Terminal. He did Sherlock Gnomes, the voice of Sherlock Gnomes, 60 Seconds to Die. He was in the TV series Mount Pleasant. He did an episode of Death in Paradise, which people might remember. He was in The Three Musketeers as D'Artagnan's father in 2011. I recently rewatched that film. Woo! I tell you what, that film is a bit of a tough watch, but for whatever reason, there's something about. I just love the Three Musketeers story. I even watched that TV series that was on BBC America for a number of seasons. It was interesting. All right, so he directed Wild Bill, Sunshine on Leith, Eddie the Eagle, Rocket Man, and he is in pre-production right now for Sherlock Holmes 3, taking over for the aforementioned Guy Ritchie as the director of this thing. Rumors are that Ethan Irwin is involved in this in some shape or form. So pretty cool to see him stepping into doing all these kinds of things, Dexter Fletcher. So I'm excited about it. I like The Saint. I think it's a cool story. I want to see, what do you all think? Do you think it's like Scott Mendelson tweeted about it and said he thinks the time has passed to do a Saint reboot, that people wouldn't be that interested in it, but I think people would be interested in it if you do it well. And that's what I tweeted back at him. I said, if the script is right, and the direction is great, I think people will be into it, because if he can do different characters, do different things, I think that'll be nice for Taron Egerton to kind of spread his wings a little bit as well as an actor, to show the different characters he can come up with and explore as an actor in the construct or in the parameters of The Saint. Give him a love story. What is he trying to solve? What's the big crime? You know, people love the Mission Impossible series. People did enjoy the Jason Bourne series. People love that spy stuff. That Kingsman prequel comes out and is a uber success. Then why not? Why wouldn't it keep going why wouldn't this vibe keep going of doing these fun spy movies with a bit of tongue-in-cheek but still high stakes? I think Taron Egerton would be great for doing that with Dexter Fletcher. That would be a lot of fun. All right, no Streamlabs here so far, and I'm wrapping up in about 10 minutes. So if you're going to send anything through on the Streamlabs or on the Super Chat, do it now so I can answer before we wrap this thing up. Let's see. What do we got here? Asa Seltzer sent in a super chat, said, thanks for your insights. Good luck against Oyama. Oh, I'm going to need it. Paul Oyama is no joke, ladies and gentlemen. Paul Oyama is a damn good player, and I've said this already on numerous other shows. I am not taking him lightly. I'm kind of nervous going up against him because he's coming off two big losses. I'm sorry, not a big loss to Ben Bateman at the Spectacular, where he surrendered the belt, and he lost to, or didn't lose to, but he almost tried to give the belt to Snyder at the live event in New York. He essentially was trying to give the belt to Snyder in New York. So I'm going to have my hands full taking on Oyama. It's not going to be easy. He's a former champ. You don't become a singles champion and not be good in this game. There's no fluke champions in this game for sure. So I'm excited to take him on. We'll see. The kid knows his stuff, and he's been, according to Kaiser, we spoke to him about it, I think on Schmodown Backstage or off camera. We were talking, and Kaiser said he's been like, Oyama's been drilling and getting things in his head. Apparently on the layover or whatever, Kaiser was testing him, and he was just nailing the question. So it's not going to be easy taking him on. We will see. Reaction Live 21 says how to donate. Jake Iacovetta putting it up there. The Patreon.com, the Streamlabs as well. The addresses are up there for you guys to do that. Mike, I will absolutely check out the Apple Pan. Absolutely. Rednax42 says the Roger Moore version is the version I know. Reginald Brown Music screaming Roger Moore, but with no emoji this time. Shout out to Reginald calming down on his emojis. Chris Barnes says, I remember Dexter Fletcher when he was in Press Gang, which is an old English TV show. All right. Psych Backron says he likes that movie. I think The Saint is what he's referencing. Let's see. What else have we got here from the fans here? Great show, Mr. Rocha. Keep trucking on, and don't worry about volume or stream problems. They resolve themselves. We know how to refresh. Travis Earl says The Saint has huge potential. Dory DeHobbit is a bit upset, says no more reboots, franchises, and prequels. All right, I respect that. I love how pulpy The Saint is, says Jose Fonseca. I hope they lean in on that aspect. Yeah, I think they will. That's the vibe nowadays. Lean into the pulpiness, but don't sacrifice that for higher stakes. He was the host of the Games Master in the 90s, says Alan Usleton. It was a computer game show. Oh, interesting. All right, so he's done his thing. Hey, so wait, does that mean down the road I could be a director? Well, that's kind of interesting. I like that idea. Millennium Falcon 2001 Seder Star Wars Clue says, I'm surprised John's not been snapped up by a big company. The man's fantastic. Oh, thank you. I'm trying. I'm building it step by step. I appreciate it. Certainly reels are going to be starting to go out, and new management is certainly going to be in play down the road here in a little bit. Everything step by step. Peter Aiken agrees with me. Rocket Man does not get enough recognition, in my opinion. Yes, in my opinion as well. Let's see. His muse, says Rick Samoris. Yeah. Edgerton as a Saint is a great call. Rocha, says Travis Earl. We'll see. Dexter Fletcher was good in Band of Brothers, says Neil Hutchinson. That's right. He was. How about Lakeith Stanfield or John David Washington as a Saint, says Zeno Hour? Sure, why not? That could work too. Absolutely. Lakeith Stanfield has shown that he can do anything he wants to do. John David Washington, I think, is still building his resume on the film side of things, and I need to see more from him as well. BAC 946 says, I love the Musketeers show in BBC, found it on Hulu. Yeah, it's not that bad, actually. It's not that bad for a serialized Musketeers show. It's really not that bad. Yeah, guys, hit that like button. I got over 200 200 y'all in here. Would love it if I got to over 200 likes in the next 6 minutes. It's at 153 right now. Would love it if more of you could give me some likes, kind of push up this the attention of the show and what have you. Peter Aiken says, done well. I think the Saint reboot could work. Sal's Psych Background says, I would watch it if it's done well. All right. Mike donated just right now. He says, I love the show. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. It's very kind of you. It's very awesome to have all of you this morning joining me. Asa Seltzer said, what about the Michael York Musketeer one with Oliver Reed? You're right. That's another one. I think Faye Dunaway plays Milady de Winter in that one, I think. But yeah, that's a fun one to go back and revisit. Don't revisit the Gene Kelly one. As much as I love Gene Kelly, that one is horrific. So, all right, Reaction Life 21 says, hey, can you start to do spoiler reviews? Example, Bad Boys for Life spoiler review. What do you think of Bumblebee? Should they make Bumblebee 2 or Optimus Prime movie? Not action to know. Understand Optimus Prime, what made him the leader. Yeah, that's definitely something that's in the cards to do spoiler reviews over and over again. I tell you, I'll be honest with you, I've been a little hesitant to them because I've been nervous about whether people would like them or not, and judge. I judge myself on such a tough scale because I want to put out really good product that you all can enjoy and attracts subscribers and attracts people's faith in what I'm creating. But I'm letting that go piece by piece, so there'll definitely be more spoiler reviews coming. I'm going to do one certainly for Invisible Man once it drops. I'll certainly do one for The Way Back once I'm allowed to do that. So I'll definitely do more of those spoiler reviews as it comes down the pike. I'm looking forward to talking more and more about film with you all and putting those up to hear your thoughts, your comments, and taking a chance. Maybe I'll fall flat on my face. Maybe they'll be great. We'll see. It was always easier to do it with another person because you could bounce back ideas back and forth. But now doing it solo, you kind of have to write out a rundown, kind of figure out what it makes. And I worry about like turning left to look at the rundown and back to you all. So, but I think I'll get past that and eventually shoot these things and put them up. I certainly enjoyed doing the Bad Boys for Life review and the trailer reaction and the Gentleman review as well. That was fun to do. But yeah, not a bad idea to do more of these spoiler reviews. So I appreciate it. Thank you, Reaction Live 21. I'll definitely be focusing on that. All right. Thanks for another fun show. John says, Manny Gonzalez, I'll see you on Friday. Good luck with your interview. Reaction Live 21. I saw it. Yeah, it went in. I saw it. Thank you so much, Reaction Live. Just read yours. Rednex 42 says, Peter Capaldi was good as Rocha Yu in the Three Musketeers series. Yes, he was. He was a good Cardinal Rocha Yu. Now, when you think about it, it'd be kind of crazy to see him do that role now. I think he still works. Jedi Chach says, we have the Latinos, El Salvador presente. Yeah, well, thank you so much for coming in. Would love it. All right. Well, let me wrap it up here. I got about 4 minutes. I'm going to wrap it up real quick because I got to jump off and get stuff ready for this interview. Let me take one more sip. Can't thank you all enough for joining me here on Mornings with the Outlaw. Over 200 of you in here. Get me up to 200 likes in the next 3 minutes. That'd be great. I'm at 171 right now. 29 more likes would get me over to 200 likes. That'd be a lot of fun. But I appreciate you all giving me your time this morning to talk about the stuff we talked about here with Ben Affleck and Batman, with Martin Scorsese directing a Western and Dexter Fletcher taking on the Saint with possibly Taron Egerton coming in to play Simon Templar. It would be kind of fun to see that version of it. Always appreciate your comments. Always appreciate your Streamlabs and your Super Chats. Certainly great stuff to interact with you all and have questions more and more. So I'd love to get more of them. So let me know what I need to do to inspire you all to donate more on the Streamlabs, donate more on the Super Chat, what questions you want to ask, because I want to keep it wide open. I want to have more time with you all, and I want to answer all your questions as much as possible. And remember, the Outlaw Nation show is coming. That'll start coming on Monday nights from 7 to 9:30. That'll be the show. We'll be talking about all kinds of things like mental health and entertainment and exploration of your own stuff. All those things will be there for us. It'll be an interactive show. I'm sorry, 7 to 9. It'll be an interactive show, kind of like a pseudo radio show. And maybe if I can figure out how to get calls in, I can have you all call in and we'll have conversations about things that are going on in your world. That's kind of what I want to do with the Outlaw Nation show. More of a supportive, positive show. It's going to be about exploring things that are going on in your world, maybe offer you some guidance as you go through that. So that's the plan for that. That'll be coming soon. And I'll have guests on, like Jeff Snyder's already wanted to be on. Roxy Stryer will be on. Certainly Mark Ellis, Ken Knapsack, Mark Riley. Definitely going to be getting more and more guests to come on that. I wanted to have one central show where I could bring people on as guests. That's certainly the Outlaw Nation show. All right, follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram. Don't forget, I'll be in Atlanta live. Oh, Ben Bateman just put in. Ben Bateman just put in a little bit of money here. Ben Bateman, thank you so much. Hope you'll be in ATL to support Outlaw, but not on the other side of the stage playing against two legends at once isn't a fair fight for anyone. Oh, there he is. There he is, Ben Bateman, logging in to put his shot in, take a shot in at the comment I made on Schmodown, the Movie Trivia Schmodown Facebook group in response to his comments on Schmodown Backstage yesterday. Go and watch Schmodown Backstage. Ben and Andrew did a fantastic job hosting that show. Had a lot to say about Season 7, had a lot to say about this upcoming title match and everything going on at the live event in Atlanta. I will be there at the end of the month here, February 29th. Please come out, get your tickets. I think we're almost sold out, maybe 10 tickets left. Go and get your tickets now and come watch us live. It's going to be a insanely awesome main event and a damn good undercard with Emily Rose Jacobson taking on Alex Damon in his first Inner Geekdom match. So there's a lot of stuff, a lot of good, two good matches for you to enjoy. And don't forget, kingsplace.com, www.kingsplace.uk.com. Over there, go and find us May 2nd, the Top 10 live show. We're trying to fill a 400-seat theater. Please come and join us. Come and join us on this live show and watch us have some fun, interactive show. All right, that's it. Follow me, as I said, on Twitter and Instagram at The Rocha Says. Please go and join my Patreon, patreon.com/John Rocha. I'll be jumping into that more and more over the next, starting today and over the next few days, jumping into it more and more and hanging out with you all and talking so much. Okay, until then, we will talk to you tomorrow morning for another episode of Mornings with the Outlaw. Shout out to Jake Iacovetta and Paul Denuzzo, both incredible people who've been part of this. But shout out to Jake, especially for the thumbnail and for moderating today. Couldn't do it without you, my man. Really appreciate it. All right, you all have a great rest of your Wednesday. Make it a good one, and we'll see you tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. for another episode of Mornings with the Outlaw. Take care until then.